Hello, my name is Ed Parker, and I'm here to provide a review of Dr. Ferguson's coaching program. I earned my blue belt last week. It took me 44 years of life, about a little over 4.5 years on the mat, and about a little over 2.5 years of solid focus and obsession with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to earn my blue belt. The last 3 months, I was in Dr. Ferguson's coaching program. I highly recommend it. It is a little bit expensive because I had to pay for the coaching program on top of my gym membership, but it was worth it. The deliberate practice that I did really is what got me over the top, and I believe helped me focus to earn my blue belt. If you're like me, I'm never trying to be a world champion. I'm a behavioral psychologist, an adjunct professor, small business owner, husband, father, Christian. I got a lot of things going on. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu primarily for mental health and as a way to stay fit and focused. I was never really concerned about leveling up to the blue belt or rank. I just enjoy the practice, and I enjoy competing and proving something to myself. I compete against myself more than I compete against my partner. My goal is to be better today than I was yesterday. I got hip to Dr. Ferguson through his social media presence, primarily through his YouTube video. I didn't know it at the time, what it was called, but I had become somewhat obsessed with the concept of the pin. And if you follow Dr. Ferguson long enough, then you know that is Osei Komiwasa. And I have become obsessed with the concept of immobilizing my opponent with a tremendous amount of pressure and putting him into a position where they either give up or they give me a submission. And I've searched over quite a bit, and Dr. Ferguson is, I would argue, an expert in Osei Komiwasa. And not everyone who plays Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and certainly not everyone who does judo, is an expert in the pin. Dr. Ferguson is. And I started watching his videos, particularly on providing pressure in the modified scarf hold, or Kazura Keisa Gatami and Mundi Gatami, and switching and alternating and maintaining pressure and eliminating space, no space. I modeled that just from watching his videos, and that literally became the cornerstone of my jiu-jitsu game. Got to the point where I was using that concept and that specific sequence of moves all the time. And I started following him on Instagram and some other places, and I reached out to him and I said, hey, what is this coaching program like? And if you know Roddy, you know he's kind of funny, and he basically said, you pay me and I coach you. And essentially that's what it was. I gave him some things that I wanted to work on, and he gave me what I needed. Not necessarily what I wanted, but what I needed. He gave me two things: a particular Jujigatami drill, which really opened up my hips and got me to move a little bit better than I was. You know, I'm an old, out-of-shape guy, and I'm not as flexible and pliable as a lot of players are. So he did that. And then I also had this particular move that I did that works out of the S mount. I'm not going to go into graphic detail of what it is because I don't want you to know my special move, but that's my move, and I call it my Eleanor. Roddy took my Eleanor and added more specific details, more specific ways to maintain pressure and to maintain the position throughout. I often would, before working in his coaching program, I would often try to hit it, and I would often go for it in practice, but would miss it here or there, and didn't really fully understand why. Well, his coaching program and his steps, his visual demonstration of the details of the steps, and then working with me to provide the educated reps on how to do the action with the dummy at home, accelerated my progress tremendously. He yelled at me one time, not yelled, but critiqued me one time because I showed him a video of something else that was outside of what I was working on in terms of reps. One day after practice, I grabbed the dummy and I grabbed a partner and was working some takedown drills. And he challenged me to not focus on that, but just focus on the things that we were repping. He used the term season of reps. I was in a season of reps for a particular type of sequence, grappling sequence. And instead of just doing anything, he challenged me to only focus on and rep those reps. So what I did was I decided that I was only going to look for submissions from my particular move. And no matter what the circumstances was, no matter where we started or how I ended up, I was only going to get submissions from that particular move. And what that did, the reduction of my focus enhanced my ability to get submissions. I started finding my particular move or pathways to get to my particular move from a variety of different positions. Not only that, but I would see submissions and would pass them up. Normally, what I would do before working in his program was I would see this or try to go for this and try to go for that. I would give up on this and give up on that. And instead of what I started doing now when in his coaching program, after I kind of saw the light, was I would just start bulldogging my sequence. So instead of doing 10,000 things 5 times, I started doing one thing 10,000 times. And eventually my training partners got hip to it. And so therefore they started to adapt. And I adapted and got better at hitting it anyway. And so if I got to a certain level, to a certain position, I was going to put you into this pen, and it would literally be dropping a building on a, quarter-size inch space on your chest. And I made many people tap, including my gym coach. Now, full disclosure, he was letting me work a little bit, but when it got to a certain point, it was clear that it was a solid pen. And he was even impressed and asked me had I been working it, and he was so excited. I think it was those experiences and rolling with him and that focus and him watching me rolling with other people, not pursuing everything and not trying to be a jack of all submissions, but being a master of one particular sequence that led to a submission, catapulted my game. And as a result of that, I earned my blue belt. A lot of work, a lot of reps on the dummy is the focus. I recorded these reps on my phone and then submitted those for critique. And Dr. Ferguson would sort of look at this and say, keep doing this or keep doing that. He'd yell at me for not doing enough reps. I did reps every day. On average, I'd average anywhere from 45 to 50 reps of this particular sequence, and it's a multiple chain of events. Some days, I'd wake up and just do one. Sometimes, quite honest, I'd come home for the bar and just do one rep. But if I wasn't doing the rep of the sequence, I was thinking about the rep of the sequence. And I was working on getting to that position and hitting the move in practice, and only that move in practice. And then hey man, how's it going?
Good.
I'll go ahead inside. I'll be in a minute. Okay. My son just got home from school. I would only hit that rep in practice. And then after practice, I grab the dummy and do a couple more reps. I started doing more work at home as opposed to just going to open mat and doing that. I was initially cautious about losing mat time and losing my conditioning. And what you need to know is that you're working at such a level of intensity and focus of reps that you're getting just as much conditioning as with the traditional roll session. In fact, perhaps even more, depending on the level of your partner. But I think the greatest aspect was I was getting critique in terms of move your hips here, put your head there. You're not doing this right. You're not facing your hips in enough. And all of the critical feedback that you get in deliberate practice with a highly trained coach that's an expert in the thing that you're trying to do. And so that's it. I also am a big fan of Dr. Ferguson's Scissor Sweep Secrets. I had learned that and journaled about that, and that also led me to sort of taking the leap of faith and starting the coaching program with him. So I highly recommend his book and his technique for repping, practice, his technique for journal entry and thinking about the reps and asking yourself why you're doing it this particular way so you have a higher level of understanding. And man, he's just a really cool dude. He's a really cool dude, but he's a bit of a savage. He's hardcore. He's not going to tolerate you being soft. He's not going to tolerate you missing reps. And he's going to give it to you straight. I highly recommend it. It helped me tremendously. I continue to sequence to this day. It still helps me. And I'm had to back it down for a little bit now because we're getting ready to start football. I got three boys, and I'm going to be coaching them. But when I'm not, because my time to be able to go to jiu-jitsu is going to be reduced by starting the season of football, I've got the reps and the experience that I had from Dr. Ferguson's coaching program that's going to be able to allow me to continue to stay frosty on my jiu-jitsu game. And then we'll start over again. So, hey, man, check it out. Hey, don't get me wrong. I get it. It's a little bit expensive, but it's worth it. He's got some – you got to go to the well to get the water. Dr. Roddy Ferguson has got some tasty water, and he will quench your thirst. Anyway, thank you.